Welcome to the deep dive. We've gotten a lot of questions about RC cars. Specifically, what do you do with the wheels and tires when they're toast?
Right. And our goal today is pretty straightforward. Give you a smarter, science-based way to handle that end-of-life stuff. Move away from just landfilling everything.
Because the usual way, just tossing the whole wheel, assembly tire, foam insert, plastic wheel, it's actually a big waste problem, isn't it? They're chemically just not compatible for, simple recycling together.
Exactly. And it all comes down to one key difference in the materials. It's really about the tire versus the wheel.
Okay, let's break that down. I sort of just thought rubber was rubber, but you're saying the tire manufacturing process itself, that vulcanization, changes things fundamentally.
It absolutely does. RC tires are vulcanized rubber. You add sulfur, heat it up, and you create these really strong chemical bonds, cross-links, that turns the rubber into what we call a thermoset polymer.
Thermoset, meaning it's set, permanently.
Pretty much. Once it's cured, you can't just melt it down and reshape it. If you heat it too much, it just chars or burns. That's the big hurdle for recycling rubber. You generally have to downcycle it.
Downcycle, so turning it into something less valuable.
Yeah, things like crumb rubber for playground surfaces, or maybe added to asphalt, not back into new tires easily. And in landfills, they're not harmless either.
Right, I read they can leach stuff.
They can. Over time, they release heavy metals, particularly zinc, that's used in the vulcanization process, and also compounds called PAHs, polycyclic aromatic hydrocarbons. Some of those are carcinogenic. They get into the leachate, the liquid that seeps out of landfills.
Okay, so the tire is the tricky one, the thermoset, but the wheel is different.
Completely different story. Most RC wheels are nylon, or a nylon composite, and nylon is a thermoplastic.
Thermoplastic, so they can be melted and reformed.
Yes, exactly. That's the key difference. Thermoplastics soften when heated and can be reshaped multiple times. And for nylon, specifically nylon 6, which is common, there's even a more advanced option called chemical recycling.
Chemical recycling, you mean beyond just melting it?
Right. It's a process called depolymerization. Instead of just melting, which can degrade the plastic quality a bit each time, this chemically breaks the nylon right back down into its original building block, the monomer. It's called caprolactam.
Wow. So you can essentially make brand new virgin quality nylon from the old stuff.
That's the potential, yeah. A truly closed loop system where the material doesn't lose quality. That's why saving that nylon wheel is so valuable from a recycling perspective.
Okay, this makes so much sense now. Separate the problematic tire from the valuable wheel. But they're glued together, usually with super glue, right? Cyanoacrylate. How do you get them apart without destroying everything?
Yeah, the CA glue. It's tough. There are basically three ways, and which one you choose really depends on what part you want to save the most.
Okay, method 1.
Acetone vapor. You put the wheel assembly in a sealed container with some acetone, but not touching it directly. The fumes dissolve the glue. It's the gentlest method, usually saves the wheel, the tire, and the foam insert.
Blend it. There's always a but, isn't there?
It's slow, really slow. Can take 24, maybe even 48 hours. And you have to be careful. Acetone fumes are VOCs, volatile organic compounds, so good ventilation is crucial. Also, it can dissolve some plastics like ABS, though most RC wheels are nylon, which is resistant.
Okay, slow and steady. What if you're impatient, like me?
Well, then you move to heat. Method 2 is boiling water. Drop the wheel assembly in boiling water for, say, 10-15 minutes. The heat softens the glue pretty fast.
Faster sounds good. Downside.
The foam insert. If it's open cell foam, which many are, it gets completely waterlogged, saturated. Trying to reuse that wet foam is a nightmare. It throws the wheel balance way off, makes the car wobble like crazy, and it can even get moldy.
Yikes. Okay, so boiling is fast, but might ruin the foam. What's method 3?
Baking. Put the wheel assembly in an oven, maybe around 300, 350 Fahrenheit, for just 5-10 minutes. It's the fastest, and it keeps the foam perfectly dry.
Sounds ideal. Too good to be true.
High risk for the wheel. You're getting close to the softening point of the nylon thermoplastic. It's really easy to warp or even slightly melt the wheel, especially around the hex area. I've definitely ruined a few wheels that way trying to rush it.
Okay, so choose your poison. Slow, wet foam, or risky heat. And what if the parts are just too beat up to reuse anyway? Can you, upcycle them? Make stuff?
Yeah, people make things like rock crawler obstacles out of old tires and wheels. That's generally fine. But remember that leaching issue we talked about. because of the potential heavy metals and PAHs.
Right, the zinc and the other nasty stuff.
Exactly. So you should never use old RC tires or wheels for anything like, say, planters for food you're going to eat or for kids' toys or anything a pet might chew on. Just not worth the risk. Safety first.
Makes sense. Okay, so we've managed to separate everything. We have a pile of worn tires, maybe some okay foam, and hopefully some clean, undamaged nylon wheels. Now what? Where does this stuff actually go? The RC hobby is too small for its own recycling program, right?
Correct. We have to piggyback on existing larger waste streams. That's the strategy. You leverage the big infrastructure that's already out there.
So the tires, where do they fit?
The tires, being thermoset rubber, should go where car tires go. Look for automotive scrap tire recycling programs. Your local mechanic might take them, or sometimes municipalities have special collection days or drop-off points for tires.
Okay, treat them like car tires. And the nylon wheels. The valuable part.
Those are thermoplastics. They go into the rigid plastic recycling stream. But you need to be a bit specific. Look for programs that accept #7 plastics. That's the other category, which often includes nylon. Or specifically ask facilities if they take nylon or nylon composites.
So you might need to call ahead.
Definitely. Always call the recycling facility first. Confirm they actually take loose nylon wheels. Ask if they need them clean, if they have specific requirements. Some advanced chemical recycling places might only take large baled quantities from industrial sources, but local rigid plastic programs might be more flexible. Don't just toss them in the blue bin and hope.
Preparation is key then. Clean, separated streams. Tire pile, wheel pile.
Crucial. Contamination ruins recycling batches. Clean tires to the tire recycler, clean wheels to the plastics recycler that confirms they take nylon.
It really boils down to understanding that material science, doesn't it? Separating the thermoset rubber that needs careful, lower-value disposal from the thermoplastic nylon that has real potential for high-value, maybe even circular reprocessing.
That's the whole game. It's not just about recycling as one big concept. It's about understanding the difference between just downcycling something into a park bench versus truly closing the loop with chemical recycling.
So here's something to think about for next time you're buying parts. Should you be paying as much attention to the material of the wheel? Is it that high-quality recyclable nylon as you do to, say, the tread pattern on the tire? Maybe the wheel matters more in the long run.
That's a great takeaway, thinking about the whole life cycle, not just performance on the track.